Food prices have jumped more than 27% over the past 5 years, according to the Ministry of Data and Statistics, while the overall consumer price index rose about 17% during the same period.
국가데이터처 국가통계 포털에 따르면 국내 먹거리 가격이 지난 5년 동안 27% 넘게 상승했으며 같은 기간 전체 소비자 물가 지수는 약 17% 오른 것으로 집계됐습니다. So the overall CPI rose 17%, but food prices rose way more than that?
Yeah, 10% more at 27. So if you're in the food industry, in terms of production in particular, then you're probably doing much better over the last 5 years. Interestingly, the things that have risen the most, tangerines rose by 105.1%. So tangerines are more than double the price that they were just 5 years ago. Other things that have taken big leaps, apples, 60%, watermelons at 56.5%, tomatoes, 46.1%. So yeah, a lot of just basic raw materials, fruits and vegetables have increased considerably.
Now I have to remember, 5 years ago was 2020.
Yes, it was.
COVID. So things were not normal, shall we say?
Yeah.
But nonetheless, it's interesting to see the different foods. And wow, 감귤 being the one that's the prices have risen the most is really interesting. All right, let's have a look at increasing or jumping.
Jumping is to move up suddenly and quickly. If you think of like a physical jump, like jump up and down, then compared to standing still, you're going up in the air. So in the same sort of way, if you have something that jumps up that's not you as a person, like a statistic of some sort, a number, then it suddenly moves up.
이렇게 갑자기 오르는 것을 점프한다라고 표현을 할 수도 있습니다. A lot of these verbs that we use in economy news are actually physically moving up. Those are the action verbs that we use.
Yeah, and another one that's very similar that we use in the same way, both ways, is to leap. So, like a statistic might leap, but a person leaps as well. And leaping and jumping are quite similar.
Yeah, although leap is also used a lot with frogs.
Yes.
Frogs leap. But yeah, people can leap too. But jumping, I think, is more usual to use for people. Nonetheless, leap and jump can be used when it comes to numbers going up. What about overall?
Overall it can mean a couple of things, but it could be like all together, but usually all encompassing. So we use this a lot when it comes to sports, as an example. Like in gymnastics, for instance, there's, I think, 6 different events for women, I believe 4 or 5 for men. And they have like an event for the vault or floor exercise or the high bar or uneven bars. But then they also have an overall event. So if you compete in everything, then they amass your total score. So, while there might be one person who's the winner or the gold medalist in the vault or a gold medalist in the floor exercise, there's also an overall winner who was just good at everything.
전반적인 거. 전체적인 것을 봤을 때. So this year, we're almost at the end of 2025 now. You may have experienced some good moments, some not so good moments, but overall, hopefully you can say it was a good year.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, in terms of the article, we're talking about how fruits went up 27%, while overall, when you consider everything that people spend money on throughout the course of the year, that only went up 17%.
아, 그래요. 각각의 음식 가격이 얼마나 올랐는지를 보게 되면은 이제 10몇 %부터 해서 100몇 %까지 굉장히 다양하기는 하지만 전반적으로 봤을 때는 음식의 가격이 한 27% 올랐다고 볼 수 있습니다. 5년 전에 비해서 현재 그렇다는 얘기가 되겠고요. 자, 물론 우리가 현재라고 할 때는 지금 작년 데이터가 가장 최근 데이터라는 것도 잘 알고 계실 겁니다. 다시 한번 읽어볼게요. Food prices have jumped more than 27% over the past 5 years, according to the Ministry of Data and Statistics, while the overall consumer price index rose about 17% during the same period. Let's move on to the next headline.
Infections from one of the most feared antibiotic-resistant superbugs are climbing at a record pace, with this year's cases already exceeding last year's total and reaching the highest level since nationwide tracking began in 2018.
항생제 내성균 중에서도 가장 우려스러운 종류의 슈퍼박테리아로 꼽히는 카바페넴 내성 장내 세균목 CRE의 국내 감염 사례가 올해 기록적으로 증가해 이미 지난해 연간 신고 건수를 넘어선 것은 물론 해당 집계가 시작된 2018년 이후 가장 많은 수치를 나타냈습니다. Tell us more.
Yeah, so you mentioned CRE. These are carbapenem-resistant enterobacteriales or bacteria. And these are things that are kind of resistant to antibiotics,
Yeah.
meaning that they're difficult to control or kill or deal with, essentially. And it's been a 6.1% increase from the 42,347 cases documented in all of 2024. So even though we're in December right now, still, a few weeks left in the year, they've already exceeded last year's numbers considerably. So this is not a good thing, especially for the elderly population, where these bugs are a little bit more prevalent and also much more dangerous.
그래요. 항생제를 영어로 antibiotics라고 하는데요. 이 antibiotics에 대한 내성이 있는 균입니다. 슈퍼박테리아라고도 부르고 CRE라는 이제 슈퍼박테리아 그런 균인데요. 이게 벌써 작년보다도 뭐 더 많고 2018년 이후 가장 이런 이제 해당 건수가 많다는 안타까운 소식입니다.
And I should clarify, when we say that it's an antibiotic-resistant superbug, it's not like a physical insect
No.
that's really, really big.
It's a bacteria.
It's a bacteria.
Yeah.
So we're talking about something that you can't see with your eyes.
그래요. 이거 슈퍼버그라고 하는군요. 영어로는. 버그는 잘 아시다시피 벌레라는 뜻도 있어요. 그러나 지금 얘기하는 거는 박테리아 얘기입니다.
Yeah, a disease. So like we'll say
Yeah.
like I've got the flu bug
Oh,
as an
yeah, that's
example. So
right.
like,
Yeah,
a flu bug meaning that, you've got a virus of some sort and, that's why you're sick.
그러네요. 생각해보니까 영어에 jitterbug, travel bug 이렇게 bug가 들어간 단어들이 있는데 그거는 다 비유적인 말로 내가 그런 상태가 됐다라는 뜻이지 무슨 벌레에 물린 건 아니잖아요. 그런 것처럼 슈퍼버그도 그렇게 이해하시면 될 것 같고 그다음에 슈퍼라는 단어의 발음이요. 우리는 이제 한글로 쓸 때는 슈퍼라고 쓰지만 영어에서는 SH 발음이 아니죠.
Yeah, super.
Super.
Yeah, it's a little
That's right.
cleaner.
That's right. Okay, let's have a look at the main expressions. Resistant.
If you're resistant to something, then you're not affected by it. So this is antibiotic resistant superbug. So this bug or virus, even if it's given antibiotics, it's not going to affect it. It's not going to kill it. It's not going to destroy it. It's resistant to it. And we hear this word quite a bit when it comes to clothing.
Yeah.
You'll hear that, this jacket is water resistant, which is different, by the way, from waterproof.
Sure.
Waterproof means that water cannot get into it at all, like rubber, whereas water resistant, it would be like if you pour water on it, it's not going to get through. However, if you made that fabric into like a bag, then someday, eventually down the road, water might seep through.
Water resistant라는 거는요. 어느 정도 물은 막아낸다. 그러니까 생활 방수 정도는 된다. 완전히 방수가 되는 거는 waterproof라고 하죠. 마찬가지 맥락으로 heat resistant라고 하면은 어느 정도 열을 막아내는 것이지만 heat proof 정도는 heat proof가 있나요?
Yeah, I don't know if there would be anything.
heat proof는
Yeah. Be difficult.
현실적으로 만들기가 힘들군요. 완전히 열을 차단하는 것은 만들기 힘들 수 있지만 어쨌든 heat resistant라는 표현도 많이 써요. 그러면 어느 정도는 내열, 열을 좀 막아낸다라는 의미가 되겠죠. I guess fire men, women.
Fire resistant.
They would
clothing.
wear fire resistant clothing. All right, let's move on to nationwide tracking.
Nationwide tracking, meaning that it's all across the country. So nationwide is it's everywhere in that particular country. And tracking is just that they're following it. So you're following along all the numbers or the stats of the country all across the country, which began in 2018.
그래요. nationwide는 전국적인, tracking은 추적한다라는 뜻이 있으니까 조사라고 볼 수 있겠죠. 아까 그 내열이 아니라 뭐 방열 정도라고 해야 뭐 heat resistant는 해석이 될 것 같습니다. 다시 한번 읽어볼게요. Infections from one of the most feared antibiotic-resistant superbugs are climbing at a record pace, with this year's cases already exceeding last year's total and reaching the highest level since nationwide tracking began in 2018.
Seoul has been selected as one of the world's top 10 cities in Euromonitor International's Top 100 City Destinations Index, which ranks the attractiveness of global cities based on factors including tourism numbers, infrastructure, and safety.
글로벌 데이터 분석 기업 유로모니터 인터내셔널이 관광객 수, 관광 인프라, 안전 등을 종합 평가해 발표한 올해 세계 100대 도시 순위에서 서울이 10위를 기록했습니다. Alright, so Seoul is number 10 on this list. Tell us more about the list.
Yeah, so it ranks cities around the world in terms of how good of a destination it is, typically for tourism, as it factors in, safety as well as how attractive a city might be. Obviously, Seoul this year with K-pop Demon Hunters once again, I'm sure has jumped it up on the standings, which last year was up to number 12. So it's up 2 spots compared to last year. And if you go back to 2018, back then it was ranked 24th. So the fact that it's top 10 now compared to
moved up quite a bit.
24 in 2018. So it's rising a lot in popularity.
So which city was number 1?
Number 1 was Paris. Paris for the 5th consecutive year.
Yep.
And the reopening of the Notre Dame Cathedral, as well as other events going on in the city, the UEFA Championships, things like that has kind of upped their markings compared to before.
Interesting. So Paris was number 1. Number 2 was Madrid in Spain. And number 3 was Tokyo, of course, in Japan, making that the city with the best ranking in Asia. All right, let's have a look at attractiveness. All of these cities are very attractive for different reasons.
Yeah, something that is attractive is something that you like for various reasons. I think the most typical thing that you think of with attractiveness is appearance, but it can be a lot of other things.
Sure.
There's reasons that you like something, essentially. You might find certain jobs to be very attractive because maybe they pay well, or it has less stress, or maybe you don't have to go into the office every day. So it's a reason for liking something.
Yeah, an offer could be attractive as well.
Yes.
자, 매력적이다라는 뜻인데요. 다양하게 쓰입니다. 사람한테 썼을 때는 보통은 뭐 보여지는 게 이제 attractive 할 수도 있지만 또 이 사람의 매력, 다른 매력이 있을 수 있잖아요. 선생님처럼 카리스마가 또 이렇게 넘치는 것도 굉장히 매력적이고 지금처럼 도시 얘기할 때도 도시가 굉장히 매력적인 그런 도시들 지금 리스트를 아까 그 어떤 그룹이었죠? Euromonitor International? 네, 거기서 발표했습니다. 그 외에도 이제 제안이 들어왔는데 상당히 매력적인 제안이야. 이럴 때도 it's a very attractive offer.
Yeah.
이 직업이 상당히 가서 일하고 싶은 곳이야. 그런 직장이야. It's an attractive job. 이렇게 얘기를 할 수 있죠. Alright, let's have a look at based on something.
Based on something is like a basis for something. The reason that you like something, or it could be the support or foundation that you're basing something on. So we often hear the phrase, this is based on a true story.
Yeah.
So this isn't exactly what happened, but the premise of what we're going to talk about, the foundation of the movie or story that we're doing, it's based on this true story. So it's inspired by this story. We kind of looked at this story and said, I want to make a movie about that,
Yeah.
even if I change a few things to make the movie a little bit more interesting or fun.
Yeah. Or if you say something and other people find it hard to believe, they might say, what are you basing that on? What's that based on?
Exactly.
그 근거가 뭐야? 할 때도 우리가 what is it based on? 이렇게 물어볼 수도 있는데 영화 중에서 실화를 바탕으로 한 영화들 있죠? 영어로는 based on a true story라고 합니다. 그래서 이 based on something이라는 게 무엇을 기반으로, 근거로 하고 있다라는 뜻이 되겠죠. 자, 그럼 다시 한번 읽어볼게요. Seoul has been selected as one of the world's top 10 cities in Euromonitor International's Top 100 City Destinations Index, which ranks the attractiveness of global cities based on factors including tourism numbers, infrastructure, and safety. Here's our next headline.
Chinese scientists have identified iron rust in lunar soil samples for the first time, challenging long-standing views that the moon lacked the oxygen conditions needed for iron oxidation.
중국 과학자들이 달에서 채취한 토양 샘플에서 녹슨 철 부위를 처음으로 발견했습니다. 이런 결과는 달이 철 산화에 필요한 산소 조건을 갖추지 못했다는 기존 견해와는 상충되는 것입니다. Oh, something new about the moon. Okay, tell us what we know.
Yeah, so they have revealed that this is micrometer scale. So really tiny, tiny amounts that they've seen of crystals of hematite and megamite, which are both forms of iron oxide. And for decades, scientists believe that, the moon lacked the conditions needed for iron oxidation, but now they're saying that it could be possible.
산화하는 거를 영어로 oxidate 한다라고 하고요. 이제 우리 화학기호 중에 그런 이제 뭐 산화가 들어간 거 있죠. 이산화탄소처럼 그럴 때는 oxide라는 형태로 보통 씁니다. 그래서 이산화탄소는 영어와 우리는 이제 순서를 반대로 말하거든요. 그래서 carbon dioxide 이렇게 말하죠. 자, 근데 이제 그 명사 형태를 보겠습니다. oxidation.
Yeah, oxidation is sort of like a transformation of sorts for molecules. And usually it'll need oxygen
Yeah.
or often includes oxygen, certainly. And, it's different atoms or elements that mix with each other to change its form. So when you have iron, then iron turns into rust if you leave it in water for too long.
Sure.
So it's a chemical transformation of different materials after being exposed to certain other elements.
Exactly. 산화되는 것, 그 산화 작용을 영어로는 oxidation이라고 합니다. 자, 그러면은 long-standing views가 뒤집혔다고 하는데 what is a long-standing view?
A long-standing view is a view that you've had for a long time. So this is what everyone has kind of considered that, for like maybe 50 years in this case, or depending, it's relative. So depending on what you're thinking of, it's like, well, we've always thought this was the case. That was our long-standing view.
Yeah.
But I guess now we need to change our minds based on this new evidence.
So people thought for years and years and ages that the moon didn't have enough oxygen for anything to oxidate.
Yeah.
But now they've found something that's oxidated. So they're going, ooh,
Wait a minute.
maybe there's more oxygen on the moon than we thought. 자, 오랫동안 유지되어 온 견해, long-standing view. 다시 읽어보겠습니다. Chinese scientists have identified iron rust in lunar soil samples for the first time, challenging long-standing views that the moon lacked the oxygen conditions needed for iron oxidation. Here's our final headline.
The number of people worldwide with assets of at least $1 billion reached nearly 3,000 as of this April, an 8.8% increase from a year earlier, according to Swiss bank UBS.
스위스 투자은행 UBS가 발표한 자료에 따르면 올 4월 기준 자산 10억 달러, 우리 돈으로 약 1조 4,700억 원 이상을 보유한 전 세계 억만장자 수가 3,000명에 육박하며 전년 대비 8.8% 증가한 수치를 나타냈습니다. Alright, well give us the exact numbers of people who have more than $1 billion then.
Yeah, so a year earlier it was 2,682. So
Okay.
add 237 more billionaires to that. So now it's actually at 2,919. So just under 3,000 billionaires.
아하, 자 올해 4월 기준입니다. 2,919명의 억만장자가 10억 달러 이상의 억만장자가 존재합니다. 이 지구상에. 그게 이제 1년 전에 비해서 237명 늘어난 숫자예요.
Yeah. Now, ironically, in terms of Korean billionaires, the number has actually gone down. So a lot of, I guess, a considerable number of Korean billionaires have either been spending their money or have lost it in some way, shape,
Yeah.
or form.
Okay.
So it was down to 31 billionaires in Korea. That's down 7 from last year. So last year there were 38, but now there's only 31 billionaires.
우리나라에는 이런 억만장자가 작년 4월에는 38명이었는데 올해는 31명으로 7명이 줄었군요. 전 세계적으로는 좀 올랐는데 우리나라는 약간의 감소세입니다. Okay, interesting. Let's talk about assets. What's that?
An asset is something that you own or possess that has value.
Yeah.
So it could be your house, it could be a car, it could be a business. It's something that if you were to give it to somebody else,
Yeah.
then you would expect a certain amount of money back for it because that has value.
Right.
And we're talking about billionaires or let's say even millionaires. Usually, so of these almost 3,000 billionaires, I can guarantee you that probably not a single one of them would actually have $1 billion in
cash.
Yeah, they don't have cash.
Yeah.
They have assets.
Sure,
they
sure.
have things that are equal to this amount of money in
Yeah.
cash, but nobody actually has that kind of cash
Right,
because
right.
if you have cash, it's actually depreciating because of inflation.
Yeah, yeah.
So when you have assets, you have other things other than cash.
Exactly. 그래요. 자산을 영어로 asset라고 하죠. 이게 뭐 현금 외에도 뭐 다양하게 있다라는 지금 말씀해 주셨고 당연히 그렇죠. 자, 그다음에는 올해 4월 얘기할 때는 this year April이라고 하지 않죠.
No, yeah, it'd be this April.
This April이라고 합니다.
Or you could also say to clarify because it's a little bit ago. It's 8 months ago.
Yeah.
So you could also say this past
Sure.
April just to clarify it a little bit more. But this April would be the April of this year.
네.
Whereas next April, which is closer, right? So like April's only 4 months away. So next year, 2026, April is actually closer to us.
Yeah.
But that would actually not be this April. It would actually be next April.
그렇죠. 자, 그래서 올해 4월은 this April 아니면은 지금 같은 경우 우리가 12월이니까 지난 지 좀 됐단 말이에요. 올해이긴 하지만 그러면 this past April이라고 해도 돼요. 그다음 내년 4월은 next April 이렇게 표현을 하는 거고.
And again, if you want to clarify next April, you can also say the upcoming April.
Sure, upcoming April. Yeah. 그럼 마찬가지로 이제 뭐 오늘 아침 이런 말을 하고 싶을 때도 this morning이라고 하지 today morning이라고 하지 않아요.
No.
네, 그러지 않습니다. 네, this morning. 그럼 내일 아침은 tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning.
tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
그때는 이제 tomorrow morning이라고 하는데
Yeah.
오늘 아침은 this morning이 되겠습니다. 자, 다시 한번 제가 읽어볼게요. The number of people worldwide with assets of at least $1 billion reached nearly 3,000 as of this April. An 8.8% increase from a year earlier, according to Swiss bank UBS.
The number of people with a migration background living in Korea has surpassed 2.7 million, or more than 5% of the total population as of November 1st of last year, according to the Ministry of Statistics and Data.
작년 11월 1일 기준 국내 거주 이주민 인구가 270만 명을 넘어서면서 우리나라 총인구 중 처음으로 5%를 돌파했다고 국가데이터처가 발표했습니다.
Yeah, it's a story all about me and other people as well. In fact, 2.72 million people.
Wow.
And that's 5.2% of Korea's total population. It's increased by 0.3% from 2023. And it's the first time we're getting this kind of registration-based census survey on those with a migration background. When it comes to it, most of us don't come from Korea. We're not Korean originally.
Right.
We take up 75.2%. That's 2.04 million. But Korean nationals also account for 24.8%, or about 672,000 of those included. And when we're talking about people from a migration background, that doesn't mean that you came to Korea, but it could be that you're a second generation immigrant.
Right.
It can also be that you're naturalized, or you're an acknowledged citizen. So there's all sorts of different categories, which is why we're using this term migration background.
migration background라는 게 이제 우리나라에서 공식적으로 이주 배경 인구
Yes.
라고 부르는 이주민이에요. 그런데 지금 말씀해 주신 것처럼 외국 국적을 가진 사람만이 아니라 당연히 외국 국적을 가진 분들도 포함이고요. 귀화를 통해서 대한민국 국적을 가진 분들도 포함이 되고 이민 2세로 한국 국적을 갖게 된 사람도 포함이 됩니다.
Yes, so for example, if you're a foreign family and you have children who were born in Korea, who may well be Korean citizens, they're still included. It's really fascinating to get these statistics, and it's really interesting to see that we've broken the 5% mark.
That's really interesting indeed. 자, 그러면은 이 표현 뭐 조금 전에 migration background는 설명을 해주셨고 as of를 좀 볼까요?
Oh, this is a very good expression if you want to pinpoint when something happened or when we're taking note of something. So we can use it as of plus a date or a time. As of yesterday, as of 9 o'clock this morning, as of last January. Whatever it is, we're saying at that time and from that time, the next fact is true. So it could be looking at population numbers.
Sure.
It could be looking at how often you exercise. As of January, I've been exercising 5 days a week. That's not true for me. But the point is, from whenever that date or time is, this thing is true.
어떤 시점을 기준으로 라는 뜻이 되겠고요. 특히 이제 지금 현재 얘기를 할 때 언제 뉴스에서 보통 우리가 현재라고 하잖아요. 그러니까 아니면 뭐 어제부로 뭐 지금 현재 시각 기준으로.
네.
So as of today, as of right now, as of 8 o'clock, as of last week. 지난주 기준으로 뭐 이런 식으로 하는 건데요. 여기서는 as of November 1st of last year.
네.
작년 11월 1일 기준이라는 뜻이 되겠습니다. 자, 다시 한번 읽어볼게요. The number of people with a migration background living in Korea has surpassed 2.7 million, or more than 5% of the total population, as of November 1st of last year, according to the Ministry of Statistics and Data. Let's move on to the second headline.
The Korea Aerospace Administration has launched the first domestic warning system for 100 MeV, Mega Electron Volt, high-energy protons, which are high-risk particles capable of penetrating into satellites in order to protect the nation's space assets.
우주항공청이 앞으로 국내에 100 메가 전자볼트, 메가 일렉트론 볼트 고에너지 양성자 경보 서비스를 제공하게 됩니다. 태양 활동 증가로 발생하는 고에너지 양성자는 위성 내부에까지 침투 가능한 고위험 입자로 해당 서비스는 국가 우주 자산을 보호하기 위한 조치가 되겠습니다. 이 MEV라는 게 이제 우리말로는 1억 전자볼트가 되겠고요. 이거 그대로 영어로는 이제 Mega Electron Volt라고
Yeah, and
하죠.
I challenge most English native speakers to explain what that is. It's a new term. It's a relatively new term, and you have to be into the science of satellites to really get into the details. But
잠깐만요. 제가 설명을 다시 좀 정리를 하자면은
네, 알겠습니다.
죄송해요. 네. 이게 100 메가 일렉트론 볼트가 바로 1억 전자볼트가 되겠습니다.
네, 알겠습니다.
Please continue.
We were looking at 10 megavolt protons before now, mega electron volt protons before now. We're now focusing on these 100 mega electron volt protons because they can really damage, they can really penetrate satellites.
Yeah.
And for the past year or so, we've had the Korea Aerospace Administration running this pilot service. And this is for Korea. So it's for domestic satellite operators and research institutes. They've been verifying that it works. And now it's official. And what they're doing is providing a text messaging service where anyone, be it an individual or organization involved with satellites launched from Korea, can use this service. And that way they can focus on, well, seeing what mega electron volts are getting out into orbit, but also how to protect their own satellites.
Right. As you said, it's to protect the Korea's space assets, basically.
Yes.
Let's have a look at some expressions. First of all, we have domestic warning system.
Yes, well, if anything is domestic, it's going to be in the home or the home country. So we use domestic to do with our home, but we also use it when we're talking about the country we are in. So we talk about a domestic product. Whenever I buy fruits and vegetables, I want to buy domestic fruits and vegetables. I want to buy fruits and vegetables grown in Korea, as opposed to imported. So domestic you'll see a lot, and a domestic warning system, meaning it's available here in Korea and it's for those in Korea.
그렇죠. 국내에 이런 시스템이 워닝 시스템이 되겠습니다. 그걸 이제 domestic warning system이라고 하는 거고요. 여러 가지 태양 활동들이 있는데 그것으로부터 우리의 그 우주 자산을 보호하는 우리의 경보 시스템이기 때문에 그거를 영어로는 domestic warning system or Korean warning system 이렇게 말할 수 있죠.
We have domestic alerts every day on our phones.
We do.
Alerts that only come to people in Korea.
Yeah. We could also say local in that case.
Yes, but local can be to a specific region, whereas domestic is going to be for a country.
Got it. 자, 그 다음에는 capable of something.
I think all our listeners are capable of something. They're all able to do something.
They're
because
capable
that's
of
what it means.
understanding today's stories.
I hope all of our listeners are, but if you're not, don't worry because Sue will explain all the nitty-gritty, all the details. Yeah, if something or someone is capable of an act of some kind, an action of some kind, it means that they can do it. Not that they will do it, not that they should do it, but there is the possibility. They're able to do it if they want to or if they have to.
네. 이게 어려운 단어가 상당히 많이 나왔잖아요. 그러니까 일반인들 저처럼 이 우주나 이런 것들에 대해서 전문적인 지식이 없는 경우에는 사실 우리가 이제 양성자 경보 서비스 이렇게 딱 들었을 때 이게 뭔가 할 수 있기 때문에 그 뒤에 설명이 붙어 있고요. 그 설명이 바로 이겁니다. 태양 활동 증가로 발생하는 고에너지 양성자는 위성 내부까지 침투 가능한 고위험 입자다. 이런 설명이 붙었어요. 자, 이러한 능력이 있다. 이렇게 할 수 있다. 할 때 it is capable of doing something.
네.
자, 여러분은 오늘의 방송을 이해하실 수 있는 능력이 있으시죠? So you are capable of understanding today's show. In this case, we're talking about the protons that are capable of penetrating, 침투하다 into satellites.
Yeah, you're also capable of answering the 무마한 문장.
Yes.
Get onto the bandy board or
Yes,
send us
yes.
a text message.
네, 그렇습니다. 그래서 앞으로 이 warning system, 경보 시스템을 활용하면은 통신 장애라든지 이런 것들을 예방할 수 있을 거라고 합니다. 다시 한번 읽어볼게요. The Korea Aerospace Administration has launched the first domestic warning system for 100 mega electron volt high energy protons, which are high risk particles capable of penetrating into satellites in order to protect the nation's space assets.
Scientists in Europe have warned that a toxic forever chemical has been detected in breakfast cereal products sold across the continent, raising concerns over the substance's risks and impact on human health.
유럽 과학계가 유럽 전역에서 널리 소비되는 아침 식사용 시리얼 제품에서 독성 연구 화학 물질이 검출됐다고 경고하면서 이 물질이 인체에 미치는 위험과 영향에 대한 우려가 커지고 있습니다.
Yeah, this is very worrying for those of us who like a bowl of cereal in the morning. And this is for Europe, but it could well be elsewhere in the world because what it is is an issue with pesticides. So there's a particular pesticide a particular substance used in pesticides called trifluoroacetic acid, TFA. And that's used on things like wheat and corn, which are the main ingredients for cereals often.
Right.
The thing is, they can have a really bad effect on human health because they are part of a group called the forever chemicals.
Yeah.
And,
What's that?
Well, forever chemicals are chemicals that seem to last forever. They don't really last forever, but they don't break down. So they don't sort of fall apart. Their molecular chains don't break, and therefore they hang around for a very long time, and they can do a lot of damage.
Yeah, they take forever to disintegrate, I guess.
Yes, and so it can lead to various issues. It can lead to breathing issues. It can lead to liver issues. It can also lead to problems with pregnancy, with babies in the womb. And this study did not pinpoint which cereals we should be careful of or which manufacturers might have this issue.
Okay.
But this TFA, this trifluoroacetic acid, is most likely widespread in cereals across Europe and possibly, depending on the country and what pesticide it's using, across the world.
Right.
And it's not just cereals. I've got bad news for those who like bread for breakfast because they also looked at wholemeal and refined bread, pasta, croissants, flour, breadcrumbs, and biscuits, because, of course, those are all made with wheat on which the pesticide is sprayed.
그래요. 그 일부 밀과 옥수수에 뿌려지는 살충제에 들어있는 화학물질이 이제 TFA인데 이 TFA가 영구 화학물질,
네.
즉 분해하는데 거의 뭐 일평생이 걸릴 정도로 거의 분해가 잘 되지 않는 그런 화학 물질이라는 겁니다. 그게 이제 검출이 된 거예요. 우리 시리얼에 옥수수, 밀 이런 것들이 원재료가 들어가 있어서 요즘 우려가 되는데 근데 어떤 시리얼인지 명시가 되진 않았습니다. 그냥 일부 시리얼에서 유럽에서 널리 시판되는 시리얼이다. 이렇게만 지금 나와 있긴 한데 그래요. 조심하긴 해야겠죠. 우리가 뭘 먹는지에 대해서.
I think organic cereals are looking more and more delicious.
Yes. So you've explained what forever chemicals are.
Yes, can I give a nicer use of forever, Momomo?
Yes.
If you adopt a puppy or a kitten, you know what
yes.
you can give them, Sue?
Oh, no.
They're forever home.
They're forever home, right?
Yeah,
I was
which is-
thinking they are your forever friend.
They are your forever friend,
Yeah.
but you give them a forever home, and we
That's
use
a
that
good
term
one.
a lot. I like this a lot more than forever chemicals. Gives me a warm and fuzzy feeling compared to that one.
Yeah, it's night and day, really, isn't it? Forever chemical has a very negative meaning and nuance, of course, because of what it does. But a forever home sounds
Yeah.
very warm and cozy and very positive.
Yes, and a forever friend will give you lots of cuddles.
자, 영구적인 영원한 무언가 이렇게 forever something 붙일 수 있습니다. 우리가 반려동물에게 평생을 함께 할 수 있는 집을 제공하는 것을 영어로는 you provide a forever home for your pet 이렇게
Yes.
표현할 수 있죠. impact는 뭘까요?
Okay, let's talk about the actual literal impact of something. That's when something hits something else. I like to think of Armageddon or Deep Impact, those Hollywood movies where an
It has the
asteroid
word
is
in
going to
it.
hit
Yeah,
Earth.
yeah,
Because that's what impact literally means, something hitting something else. But we use it a lot when we're talking about effects. Something has an impact on something else, meaning it causes that to do something or causes something to change for that. There is an effect of some kind.
Yeah.
And often we're talking about a negative impact, but we can also talk about positive impacts.
Waking up early every morning can have a very positive impact on your lifestyle.
Eating 10 donuts every morning can have a negative impact on your weight.
자, impact라는 것은 영향이라는 뜻이고 또 충격이라는 의미가 될 수도 있어요. 그래서 Deep Impact라는 영화 기억하시나요, 여러분?
네.
그게 큰 충돌이라고 보시면 됩니다. 그 직역을 좀 한다면은. 근데 자, 이 동사로도 쓰여요. You can impact someone. You can be impacted by someone.
Absolutely. And the idea is it's not just a little, there's like quite a big effect. It's like a
Yes.
punch or a hit.
맞아요. 그 펀치 느낌이 좀 있네요. 진짜. 이게 그냥 조금 영향을 주는 게 아니라 팍 이렇게 빵 치는 것처럼. 그래서 원래 이제 충격, 충돌 이런 의미도
Yeah.
그래서 있는 겁니다.
I think every single teacher longs to have an impact on their students.
And I'm sure they do.
Well, I had a couple of teachers who had no impact on their pupils.
But you had also some very
Oh,
good
absolutely,
teachers.
yes. So I think every good teacher will have an impact on their pupils.
그래요. 자, an impact, 영향. 자, 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. Scientists in Europe have warned that a toxic forever chemical has been detected in breakfast cereal products sold across the continent, raising concerns over the substance's risks and impact on human health. Here's our next headline.
The Louvre Museum in Paris has reported that a water leak last month damaged several hundred works in its Egyptian department, adding to a string of recent misfortunes for the world's most visited museum, including a brazen jewel theft in October.
파리 루브르 박물관에서 지난달 누수로 인해 고대 이집트 부선의 도서 수백 건이 손상되는 사건이 발생했습니다. 이로써 세계 최다 관람객 수를 자랑하는 루브르에서 지난 10월에 있었던 대담한 보석 도난 사건을 비롯해 최근 크고 작은 사고가 이어지고 있는 모습입니다. We've been hearing so many stories coming out of the Louvre, but not good ones.
No, they've had an unlucky year. Now I've got good news and bad news. Sue.
Okay.
The bad news is we're talking somewhere between 300 and 400 works were affected.
Wow.
The good news is that they were mostly journals and scientific documentation from the 18th and 19th century, and they were not unique. So
Okay.
they're extremely useful, but we're not talking about priceless paintings or artifacts being destroyed. This is more about the scientists, the archaeologists, the scholars' work that has been impacted by this leak. And yes, it's been a terrible year. We had the theft in October, where somehow this 4-person gang managed to get away with all these jewels
know.
without anybody noticing. And they did it in just 7 minutes. There's going to be an investigation. Of course, there's already one about the October theft, but for this leak, they're going to be doing that. It seems to have been caused by the accidental opening of a valve in the heating and ventilation system, which then led to a water leak that seeped through the ceiling to where these books were. It was due to be replaced next year, but unfortunately they didn't get to it in time.
Oh dear. All right. 자, 그러니까 책 여러 권이 300권에서 400권이라고 하셨나요?
Yes, 300 to 400.
상당히 여러 권의 책이 손상되는 사건이었습니다. 이 누수로 인해서 이렇게 물에 젖은 건데요. 근데 다행이라고 해야 될지 뭐 그나마 다행인 것은 이게 유사한 서적이 또 여전히 많이 있기 때문에.
Yeah,
네.
but I mean, if you imagine if it dripped onto a mummy, for example, or onto the Mona Lisa, there could have been a even more severe damage to an ancient artifact.
그렇죠. 정말 유일무이한 그런 작품이 이렇게 손상이 됐으면은 더 안타까웠을 수도 있는데 굳이 실버 라이닝을 찾자면 그렇다는 겁니다. 그래도
Yeah,
어쨌든 bad news이기는 한데.
Yeah, so I don't mean to be frivolous when I use the term good news, bad news, but it's better that it wasn't something priceless, something irreplaceable.
Exactly. And when you say frivolous, you're saying you know the meaning of the word is you're taking it lightly.
Exactly.
You're not being frivolous.
No,
You're not
it is a
taking lightly.
serious thing, but
Yeah,
also
yeah.
I wanted to let our viewers know that it wasn't something priceless.
Okay, exactly. Let's have a look at the expression a string of something.
Yes, well, in our studio, we've got a string of ornaments up on the wall. You can't see them, but they're there. Yes, a string of something literally means a string with things attached to it in a line, in a row. And so when we use a string of in our lives, when we're talking about experiences, it's things that are happening in a row, things
Yeah.
that happen one after the other. They can be the same thing, they can be different things, but related in some way.
그죠. string이라는 게 줄이라는 의미여서 a string of things라는 것은 줄로 이렇게 쭉 연결이 되어 있는 거예요. 지금 이제 여기저기 크리스마스 데코레이션들이 아마 좀
네.
보일 겁니다. 근데 줄로 쭉 연결이 돼 있죠. a string of decorations, a string of ornaments.
Yes.
그거는
but-
이제 눈에 보이는 거고요.
Exactly, but in our lives, it could be a string of accidents,
Yes.
a string of thefts,
맞아요.
a string of issues.
그렇죠. 그래서 줄줄이 이어지는 연이은 뭐뭐뭐라는 비유적인 뜻으로도 많이 쓰는데 여기서도 그런 거죠. The Louvre has experienced a string of misfortunes or accidents. 최근에 연달아서 루브르 박물관이 좀 안 좋은 일들이 많이 발생하고 있어요.
네.
misfortune이 뭔가요?
Okay, so here we're using in the noun form misfortune. Fortune is luck, but when we put the prefix mis in front of it, well, it means the opposite. It's not luck, it's unlucky.
Yeah.
So, for example, we have understanding. You put miss in front of it, you get misunderstanding, meaning you didn't understand. So, misfortune is is a lack of luck, bad luck.
행운이 아니라 불행, 불운 이런 거를 misfortune이라고 합니다. 예, 루브르 박물관에 있었던 그냥 accident나 이벤트는 좀 그러네요. accident라고 부를 수는 있어요. 사실
Yeah.
이 단어 대신에
Well,
그렇지만
because there was a theft, and a theft is not an accident.
그러네요.
And so misfortune is
incident는 어때요?
incident is very good.
incident.
You could say a string of bad luck.
string of bad luck, a string of incidents 이런 단어로 대체할 수도 있는데
A string of issues, a string of problems.
그렇죠. 네. 그런데 이제 부정적인 뉘앙스를 좀 살린 단어 misfortune이 여기 사용이 되고 있습니다. 다시 읽어볼게요. The Louvre Museum in Paris has reported that a water leak last month damaged several hundred works in its Egyptian department, adding to a string of recent misfortunes for the world's most visited museum, including a brazen jewel theft in October. Let's move on to the final headline.
A 1960s James Bond-style Aston Martin car purchased second-hand for less than £1,000 in 1973 and became so dilapidated that local children played on it has been fully restored by the automaker and is now valued at £1 million.
1960년대 제임스 본드 스타일의 자동차로 한 영국 남성이 1973년에 1,000파운드 미만의 가격에 중고로 구입했으나 이후 동네 어린이들이 그 위에서 놀 정도로 완전히 고물처럼 변한 애스턴 마틴 차량이 제조사의 완벽한 복원을 통해 100만 파운드의 새로운 감정가를 얻게 됐습니다.
It's a lovely story. It's a romantic story, I think, for car lovers.
Yes.
And John Williams, who's now 71 years old and comes from Wales in the UK, I think was an automobile romanticist because he bought it back in his late 20s in 1973 for just under £1,000, £985, equivalent nowadays of about £15,000, which is 29 million won. And he drove it a little bit, but then headed off to the Middle East for work and left it there. And, well, children played on it. It sort of just stayed, rusted, got into a not very good condition until finally he managed to save up the money for a restoration. Cost him £400,000. That's a lot of money. It took 3 years for Aston Martin Company to restore the car. They even had to take out a mouse's nest. I don't know whether the mice were still in it or not, but certainly they had made a home there. Something like 2,500 hours of repair. And now it's in pristine condition. There's only 39 of them in the world of that model in colour.
They're very rare.
Yeah, so John Williams, I think he knew he got a bargain in 1973, but it took him a while to get round to fixing it up.
그래요. 1973년 당시에 985파운드에 구입한 차량입니다. 요즘 물가를 반영하면은 대략 한 15,000파운드 정도, 우리 돈으로 한 2,900만 원에 구입했다고 볼 수 있는데요. 그 차량을 일단은 뭐 수리하지 못하고 있다가 돈을 열심히 모아서 40만 파운드의 수리비를 들여서 이제 수리를 했어요. 그리고 최종 감정가는 100만 파운드 이상 그 정도로 나오게 됐다고 합니다.
Yeah, I mean,
It's amazing.
It's amazing that he got the money together, and of course he's got a very valuable car now. I have a feeling if he's a romantic automobile enthusiast, he's going to be keeping his hands on it because it's a beautiful specimen.
Well, it was at one point dilapidated.
It was. And if something is dilapidated, it's run down.
Yeah.
It's not in a very good condition. It's got damage. It's got things that need repairing. It might be shabby. It might be scruffy. It doesn't look like it's new. It looks very old and very used and very in need of repair.
It even sounds that way, the word.
It does, dilapidated.
Dilapidated.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound new or clean or fresh. It sounds like,
Yes.
dilapidated.
However, we don't use it for people.
Oh,
we
right.
use it for objects.
Yes, good point.
So you can describe a car or a house, even clothing. But usually it's a big thing that we describe as dilapidated.
그렇죠. 허물어질 정도로 낡은 물건을 우리가 dilapidated 하다라고 표현을 합니다. 스펠링 한번 알려주실래요?
D-I-L-A-P-I-D-A-T-E-D. ED.
Okay, but now it's fully restored.
It is, and if something is fully restored, it has been made so it is just like it was when it was first made. Made like when it was in its original state.
Yep.
If we restore something, we get it back to its original state. So, for example, if you have computer problems, you might have to restore your hard drive.
Yeah.
If you are not doing very well at work and your boss is worried, you might have to restore their confidence. The point is you're getting something back to how it used to be.
That's right. To restore something and then to fully restore it, 완전히 복원한다는 의미가 되겠습니다. Well, here's the headline one more time. A 1960s James Bond-style Aston Martin car purchased second-hand for less than £1,000 in 1973 and became so dilapidated that local children played on it, has been fully restored by the automaker and is now valued at £1 million. All right, well, those are our headlines this morning with Paul Matthews.
The number of single-person households in Korea has topped 8 million for the first time, accounting for more than 36% of all households, with nearly 20% of them aged 70 or older, according to data released by the Ministry of Data and Statistics.
국가데이터처가 발표한 자료에 따르면 국내 1인 가구 수가 처음으로 800만 가구를 넘어서고 전체 가구 중 차지하는 비율도 36% 이상을 기록한 가운데 이 중 70세 이상의 비율이 전체 1인 가구의 20%에 달하는 것으로 나타났습니다.
Yeah,
More and more people living alone.
right.
Tell us more.
Right. So, as we mentioned, the nation's single-person households have surpassed 8 million for the first time. That's about 36.1% of all households in the nation.
Right.
And government data shows 20% of people living alone are, as you mentioned, 70 or older, while about 18% are under 30 and another 18% are in their 60s. So either they're young or they're over 60 years
It's interesting.
old.
Yeah. 20% 이상은 그러니까 70세 이상이고 한 18% 정도가 30세 미만, 17%는 또 60대군요.
Yeah.
혼자 사시는 분들.
Which, I mean, kind of makes sense because,
Yeah.
you know, when you haven't married and or you're working or you're in college, you might be living alone. And then after you get married, you would be living with your partner or as a family. And then later on, after your partner has passed away or when you become alone,
Yeah.
it would be in your maybe 60s, 70s, or when you're a little bit older.
Added to the fact that we live in an aged society,
Right.
the percentage of people that are living alone in their 70s plus is more than before.
Yes.
Although it was typical to see people in their older age to live alone, as you said, for natural reasons.
Right.
But the percentage is just getting bigger. And then also the percentage of younger people who are not married living
Yeah.
alone as well. That's quite significant as well.
Right. And they took a look at where these people are
that's
living as
interesting.
well.
Yeah.
And they said that 4 in 10 single person households are concentrated in the Seoul metropolitan area, led by Gyeonggi province and Seoul.
Right,
And nearly half of those living alone, or 48.9%, reported feeling lonely, a rate more than 10 percentage points higher than the general population.
So it wasn't just the data, the numbers they were looking at, but also the sort of not mental state, but, feeling of loneliness.
Right.
They looked at that. That's interesting.
Yeah, and which is, I think, important for policymakers to be
Yeah.
aware of
Yeah.
because it is something that, you know, the social, it's something that the community and policymakers should be taking care of.
I mean, more than ever now, there's so much research and studies on mental health. It's really important, as you said. It's not just for the doctors and the physicians, but it's for the government as
Yeah.
well to
Yeah.
care about. 그래요. 자, 1인 가구 중에 40%는 수도권에 살고 있다고 합니다. 수도권을 이제 Seoul Metro Area라고 얘기할 수 있고요. You could say Seoul and the surrounding
areas, yes. The greater Seoul area, I think we
맞아요.
also
이렇게
say.
표현할
Yes.
수도 있고. 굉장히 많아요.
Yeah.
수도권. So we're talking about, of course, Seoul, 경기, and 인천. 그 다음에는 아까 또 전체적으로 What was the other percentage you gave us? A really interesting one. 방금
Feeling lonely?
아, 네,
yeah.
그래요. 그
Yeah,
40
nearly half of them. 48.9%.
아, 그러니까 한 49%, 거의 반. 1인 가구의 거의 반 정도가 외로움을 느낀다라는 결과도 이번에 설문조사에서 같이 나왔습니다. 자, 여러 가지 퍼센티지가 나왔어요.
Yeah.
아까 1인 가구가 처음으로 전체 가구 중 이제 36%를 차지했다. 이런 내용이 있었던 것 같아요.
Yeah.
36% 차지하다. Account for.
Right. Right. So that means it forms the total of something. So if a particular thing accounts for a part or proportion of something, then that part or proportion consists of that thing or is used or produced by it.
Right. 그래서 이만큼의 퍼센티지를 차지한다라고 할 때요. Something accounts for 36% of the total.
Yeah.
자, 그다음에 it was released by.
So we use this when something is made available to the public by, it could be a government, it could be some sort of source, and it often indicates that the source or agent is some sort of official source,
Yeah.
and they perform that action.
발표했다는 뜻이죠. 여기서는 국가데이터처가 발표한 자료에 따르면 according to data released by the Ministry of Data and Statistics. 자, 다시 한번 제가 읽어보겠습니다. The number of single-person households in Korea has million for the first time, accounting for more than 36% of all households, with nearly 20% of them aged 70 or older, according to data released by the Ministry of Data and Statistics. Let's move on to the next headline.
Korean Cannes-winning director Park Chan-wook's black comedy No Other Choice and Netflix animated hit K-pop Demon Hunters have each received 3 Golden Globe nominations, including Best Picture and Best Animated Feature, respectively.
칸 영화제 수상 전력의 박찬욱 감독이 연출한 영화 어쩔 수가 없다와 넷플릭스의 인기 애니메이션 K-pop 데몬 헌터즈가 미국의 권위 있는 대중문화상인 골든 글로브에서 각각 3개의 부문 후보에 지명됐습니다. 어쩔 수 없다는 작품상, K-pop 데몬 헌터즈는 최우수 애니메이션 영화상 부문 등의 후보에 올랐습니다. Not surprising, given how popular these movies are or were. Tell us more.
Yeah. So it's a black comedy film. It's No Other Choice by Park Chan-wook and Netflix's K-pop Demon Hunters. They both earned 3 Golden Globe nominations. No Other Choice, it stars Lee Byung-hun and Son Ye-jin, and it was nominated for Best Motion Picture for musical or comedy, as well as Best Non-English Language Film. And Lee Byung-hun also received a Best Actor nod. K-pop Demon Hunters is up for Best Animated Feature, plus nominations for Cinematic and Box Office Achievement and Best Original Song for the hit that everyone keeps singing, Golden. And the animated film will compete against titles like Zootopia 2 and Demon Slayer. The 83rd Golden Globes will be held in Los Angeles on January 11th.
아하, 그래요. 박찬욱 감독의 헤어질 결심 이후로 이제 3년 만에 이번에 골든글로브 후보에 오른 작품 바로 어쩔 수가 없다가 되겠습니다. 그다음에 이제 뭐 캐대헌, K-pop Demon Hunters 같은 경우에도 이번에 골든글로브 후보 부문에 올랐는데요. 지금 상대 영화들이 아까 저 주토피아 2와 같은 좀 막강한 영화들이 또 있긴 하지만 넷플릭스에서 뭐 가장 많은 시청률? 뭐라 그러나? 조회수? 조회수를 기록한 영화이다 보니까, 좀, 뭐라 그럴까요? 상을 받게 될 가능성이 굉장히 높지 않나. 이렇게도 기대를 해봅니다.
It's a strong contender.
그래요. 제가 만든 영화도 아닌데 왜 이렇게 잘 내기를 바랄까요?
I mean,
너무 자부심이
I guess it would
듭니다.
depend on what they're going for, but like the academies, they go for how artistic it is.
너무나
but we'll have to see.
너무나 잘 되기를 바라고 그다음에 지금 이렇게 후보에 오른 것만으로도 상당한 겁니다. 얼마나 영화가 많이 나와요.
Of course.
그래요. 이제 넷플릭스까지 포함이 되다 보니까 정말 무수히 많은 다른 작품들을 제치고 여기까지 올라온 것만으로도 대단합니다.
I mean, if you think about it, it hasn't been that long since we've seen Korean films with actors speaking in Korean
You're right.
being nominated for these major awards like the Academy Awards and the Golden Globes, the Emmys, the
Exactly.
Primetime Emmys. Yeah.
맞아요. 자, 우리 표현 좀 보겠습니다. These two movies have each received Golden Globe nominations.
Right. So we use this when we're saying that if, in this case, they each received 3 nominations, right? So that means one movie and the other movie, they both received 3 nominations. So this expression is used to refer to every one of 2 or more people or things regarded and identified separately.
각각 뭐뭐하다라고 할 때 each를 이렇게 쓸 수 있는 거예요. 지금 두 작품 얘기를 하고 있기 때문에 각각 3개의 후보 부문에 올랐다. They've each received 3 Golden Globe nominations or nods, you could say as well. Nod 이렇게 끄덕인다는 뜻인데 nomination이랑 똑같이 쓰이고요.
Yeah.
그 다음에 이제 어떤 상인지 Best Picture라는 게 언급이 됐고 또 Best Animated Feature라는 게 언급이 됐는데 뒤에 이 단어 respectively
Respectively.
설명 부탁드릴게요.
Yeah, so we tag this along at the end when we're, listing something and there's 2 or more things that we are referring to. So it means separately or individually and in the order that has already been mentioned.
그러니까 이런 거예요. Karen and Sue grew up in the US and UK respectively.
Yeah.
그럼 앞에 Karen 먼저 나오고 그 다음에 뒤에 장소는 US가 먼저 나왔죠. 그러면 거기가 한 페어, 한 짝이고요.
Yeah.
그 다음에 Sue가 두 번째 나오고 UK가 나왔으니까 그것도 하나의 짝인데 그걸 영어는 이렇게 표현하는 거예요. Karen and Sue lived in the US and UK respectively.
Yeah.
그러니까 이 순서대로 앞에 얘기했던 것들과 뒤에 얘기했던 것들을 하나씩 짝지어서 해석을 하라는 뜻입니다.
Yeah, so I mean, the same thing would be Karen lived in the US and Sue lived in the UK, but it would be another way to say that.
우리는 그렇게 표현을 잘 안 하는 것 같긴 한데, 그러니까 Karen과 Sue는 미국과 영국에서 각각 살았습니다. 이렇게 잘 안 하죠.
Yeah.
Karen은 미국에서 살았고, Sue는 한국에서 살았다.
Yeah.
이렇게 하는 게 좀 더 자연스럽게 느껴질 수 있겠지만 영어에서는요. 먼저 주어들만 쫙 나열하고 그 다음에 뒤에 그 순서대로 이제 뭐가 있는 뭐 해당이 되는지 대응하는 것들을 말한 다음에 respectively 하면은 거기 하나 이렇게 쫙 지으라는 얘기입니다.
Yep.
자, 그러면은 다시 한번 읽어볼게요. Korean Cannes-winning director Park Chan-wook's black comedy No Other Choice and Netflix animated hit K-pop Demon Hunters have each received 3 Golden Globe nominations, including Best Picture and Best Animated Feature, respectively.
NASA astronaut Johnny Kim has returned to Earth after completing an 8-month science mission aboard the International Space Station aimed at improving life on Earth and advancing future space exploration.
미국 항공우주국 나사 소속 한국계 우주비행사 조니 킴이 국제우주정거장 ISS에서 8개월간의 임무를 마치고 지구로 귀환했습니다. 조니 킴은 ISS에서 지구의 삶을 개선하고 미래의 우주 탐사 발전을 위한 과학 연구와 실험을 수행했습니다. All right, tell us about Johnny Kim and his space exploration.
Yeah, you might have heard about him because I think he was referred to as like the Omchina.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, so
Remind us, though.
Yeah, so he returned to Earth with Russian cosmonauts Sergei Ryzhkov and Alexei Zubrisky.
Okay.
And he concluded an 8-month mission aboard I could not say aboard today, aboard the International Space Station. So the trio landed safely in Kazakhstan.
Yeah.
And that was after departing the ISS aboard the Soyuz MS-27. So during their 245 days in orbit, they circled Earth 3,920 times and traveled nearly 104 million miles. And the mission marked the first space flight for Kim and Zabritsky and the third for Ryzhkov. And Kim he conducted research on bioprinted tissues, remote robot operations, and DNA mimicking nanomaterials to support future medical and space exploration technologies. And I think that's why they were calling him Omchina because he's also a doctor, I believe.
Yeah.
And after medical checks, he will return to NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston as the ISS continues serving as a key platform for long-duration space flight research. So he wasn't quite alone.
No, exactly. He wasn't alone.
Yeah.
But the three of them, they were sort of alone
in space.
From the rest of the
world. Yeah.
But yeah, he wasn't in total isolation because you do need team members,
right,
of course, to do this sort of thing. But us being in Korea and of course being very proud of this Korean American, he is the name that we've put in the headline there, of course.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at aboard.
Aboard, yes, aboard. You can also say on board, but it's aboard, and it's one word. It's ABOARD.
Yeah.
And we use this when we are on or go into some sort of ship, aircraft, train. It could be a car, any sort of vehicle.
Aboard a ship as well. Can you say that?
Yes.
Aboard a plane, aboard a spacecraft.
Yep.
이렇게 뭐에 올라탔다, 탑승했다라는 뜻이 되겠습니다. And aimed at something.
Yeah, aimed at something. So we use this. You can use this when you're throwing something, so to like direct something. But in this case, it's more when you are directing like an action or a statement towards a specific goal or a target for some sort of purpose or intention.
Aimed at something은 무엇을 목표로 하고 있다가 되겠죠. 자, 그럼 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. NASA astronaut Johnny Kim has returned to Earth after completing an 8-month science mission aboard the International Space Station, or ISS, aimed at improving life on Earth and advancing future space exploration. Let's move on to the next headline.
Paris 1 Pantheon Sorbonne University, one of France's most prestigious institutions, has announced it will raise tuition fees for non-EU international students by nearly 16 times, starting in the 2026 academic year.
프랑스 인문사회과학 분야 명문대 중 한 곳인 파리 1대학 팡테옹 소르본이 2026학년도부터 유럽연합 출신이 아닌 외국인 학생의 등록금을 16배 가까이 인상한다고 발표했습니다. 16 times?
Yeah, 16 times.
Goodness.
Okay, so let's take a look at how much this is going to be for international students. So if a student from Korea wanted to go study at this prestigious Paris 1 Pantheon Sorbonne University in France, they say that the undergraduate tuition for international students will rise from the current 178 euros, which is incredibly cheap.
Yeah.
It's only 300,000 won.
That's for 1 year.
Yeah.
The annual tuition. Wow.
So I guess we can kind of understand why they would want to raise it by 16 times.
여기까지만 좀 해석을 하자면은 undergraduate는 학부생인데요. 프랑스의 학부생 같은 경우에는 현재 우리 돈으로 약 30만 원 정도의 학비가 연간 든다고 합니다.
Yeah.
많이 들지 않네요.
Yeah.
근데 이제 EU 회원국의 출신이 아닌 학생들은 그러면 앞으로 그 16배면 얼마를 낸다는 거죠?
So that goes up to 2,895 euros. So that's about 4.9 million won.
한 500만 원 정도가 되겠네요.
Which is still not bad.
그래요. 그러니까 현지 학생들에 비해서는 상당히 많이 내는 것이기는 한데 이제 everything is relative.
Yes.
뭐 미국의 학비를 선생님은 또 생각을 하실 테니까 그래도 저렴하다라고 지금 방금 얘기를 해주셨어요. 근데 어쨌든 네 원래 이제 현재 학생들과 유학생들의 학비가 대부분의 나라들은 다 다르기는
Yes,
한데
yes.
이제 상당히 차이가 많이 나네요.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, you do not pay taxes there, right?
So you mentioned undergraduates. What
Yes.
about masters?
For masters,
Yeah.
So master's tuition will increase from 254 euros, which is about 430,000 won, to 3,941 euros, which is about 6.7 million won.
그래요. 석사 과정에 있는 학생 같은 경우에는 현지 학생은 1년에 43만 원 정도가 드는데 EU 국가 출신이 아니면은 한 670만 원 정도가 들 예정입니다.
Yeah. So still
Interesting.
very affordable, I guess. And this measure will apply to all international students except those from EU member states and students with refugee status and students from the 44 countries designated as least developed by the United Nations.
Yeah. Now, France is actually known for its very low tuition fees for university because the government pays for it, right?
Yeah. So as you mentioned, France's public higher education institutions have been known for their low tuition fees, with the government covering most of their costs. And that resulted in annual tuition at national universities being around 300 to 500,000 won. And this made France a popular destination for so-called cost-effective study abroad. But the university cited financial difficulties as the reason for this decision. They explained that the measure was adopted out of necessity due to budgetary pressures, as the state has failed to provide adequate support, leading to financial hardship.
네, 정부가 예산 문제 등을 거론하면서 앞으로는 지금처럼 지원을 하기가 좀 힘들다라는 얘기를 했다고 하고요. 그동안에는 사실 프랑스의 이제 대학 등록금이 이렇게 대부분 정부 지원금으로 나오기 때문에 굉장히 저렴한 것으로 잘 알려져 있었다고 합니다. 자, 명문대.
Yes.
Prestigious universities.
Yes, prestigious. So we call these very good schools prestigious universities, and when something has prestige, we say
Yeah.
it's prestigious, and it means that it inspires respect and admiration, or it has a very high status.
Our listeners will have noticed there's two different pronunciations for this. Karen says prestigious, which is the American way. I say prestigious, which is the British way. And I believe Canadians also say prestigious. But yeah, both are correct. 명성이 있는, 권위가 있는, 그래서 명문대 할 때는요, prestigious university 이렇게 표현을 할 수 있습니다. 자, 그 다음에 academic year는요?
Yep, academic year. So it's the period of the year during which students attend an educational institution. In Korea, the academic year begins in March. In the US, the academic year usually begins in September.
그렇죠. 네, 서양 국가는 대부분 신학기가 9월에 시작이 되고요. 그래서 여름방학은 학기 말.
Yes.
그래서
At
좀
the
신나는
end, yeah, at the
느낌이
end.
네, 그렇죠. 끝냈다 하는 그런 느낌이 있죠. 9월에 신학기가 시작이 되니까 우리는 뭐 3월이죠. 일본은 4월인 것 같아요. 그죠? 나라마다 좀 이렇게 차이가
Yeah, it's a little
있더라고요.
different, yeah.
그래요. academic year는 이제 학사 연도가 되겠습니다. 다시 읽어볼게요. Paris 1, Pantheon-Sorbonne University, one of France's most prestigious institutions, has announced it will raise tuition fees for non-EU international students by nearly 16 times, starting in the 2026 academic year. Let's move on to the final headline.
A 3-year-old kindergartner from India has become the youngest chess player to earn an official rating from the sport's governing body, the International Chess Federation.
인도의 한 3세 소년이 국제 체스 연맹 공식 랭킹에 이름을 올리며 역대 최연소 체스 선수가 됐습니다. 와우. I want to meet this baby. Can I call him a baby? Chess master.
Well, a toddler, definitely. Yeah,
3
3
years
years old.
old.
3 years old, yes. Well, 3 years, 7 months, and 20 days, well, to be exact.
Still, Clearly, he's a genius.
Yes, a genius. His name is Sarwaga Singh Kushwaha,
Okay.
and he has become the official youngest chess player ever to earn a official FIDE rating, and he's a kindergartner.
그러니까 2022년에 태어난 이제 3살 아이입니다. 인도 아이고요. 이름이 Sarwagya Singh Kushwaha. 그렇군요.
Yeah.
근데 체스가 사실 앞에 여러 수도 내다봐야 되고 이게 그냥 단순히 룰만 안다고 되는 게 아닌데
Yeah.
진짜 천재는 천재인가 봐요.
Yeah, so he achieved a rapid rating of 1,572, which is actually well above the 1,400 minimum after scoring points against multiple rated adult players.
Yeah.
Sarwarga, who began playing chess at around 30 months old.
Just over the age of 2.
Yeah, he now trains 4 to 5 hours a day and has already defeated opponents in their 20s with ratings up to 1,696.
Wait, so it's only been 1 year since he learned how to play chess. Yeah. And he's already like a chess
Genius,
genius.
a prodigy, yeah.
Wow.
He broke the previous record held by another Indian prodigy by nearly a month, reflecting India's growing dominance in the world of chess. And his father says he may pursue a grandmaster path following other Indian great chess masters.
You know, there's that stereotype. Asians and Indians are really good at maths and they're sort of geniuses. But I guess in this case, it's kind of true.
Yeah, maybe. It runs in the long
DNA,
lineage
yeah.
of family bloodlines, and I don't know.
I don't know. It's
'cause
amazing.
They used to say, maybe it's because Koreans use the steel chopsticks. That's why they have good dexterity. Maybe
Yeah.
there's something that people do in India that helps them to play chess well. I don't know.
I don't know either. 정말 대단합니다. Okay, let's have a look at earning an official rating.
Yes, so here it means to acquire some sort of formal evaluation, assessment, or numerical value from an authoritative body that is based on specific predefined criteria.
그래요. 공식 등급을 받았다. 그러니까 지금 여기서 말하는 거는 이제 공식 랭킹의 이름을 올렸다. 그런 뜻이고요. What's a governing body?
Governing body. So this would be a group of people who formulate the policy and direct the affairs of an institution. It could be in partnership with the managers. For this case, it would be for the World Chess Playing Association or Federation.
그렇죠. 여기서 말하는 governing body는 어떤 이제 관리 감독을 하는 기관이라는 뜻이 되겠습니다. 자, 다시 읽어볼게요. A 3-year-old kindergartner from India has become the youngest chess player to earn an official rating from the sports' governing body, the International Chess Federation. All right. Well, that is it for the headlines.
The Asian Development Bank has upgraded Korea's growth forecast for both this year and next, attributing the revision to government stimulus efforts and the completion of tariff negotiations with the U.S.
아시아개발은행 ADB가 올해와 내년 한국 성장률을 상향 조정하면서 정부의 경기 부양 정책 및 미국과의 관세 협상 타결로 통상 리스크가 줄어든 점을 이유로 들었습니다.
Yes, so the ADB, the Asia Development Bank, has upgraded Korea's economy. So the outlook is good, and they've upgraded it, for this year and both 2026 as well by a total of 0.1 percentage points. So for this year, the ADB is forecasting Korea's economy to grow by 0.9% and next year 1.7%. And there's three main reasons for this. Two in the headline, first suggesting that government stimulus efforts by the South Korean economy or government has impacted that, as well as the conclusion of tariff negotiations, but also stronger global semiconductor demand would fuel growth in Korea's economy. So it's looking good. The outlook is rosy, rosier, I guess you could say, but also also inflation targets for next year and this year as well have also been upgraded by about 0.2 of a percentage point.
Exactly. You said the outlook is rosier than before. Outlook 그러면 전망이고 rosy 그러면 우리가 보통 이제 장밋빛 그러잖아요. 물론 우리가 비유적으로 쓰는 표현이기도 하지만 이렇게 경제 뉴스에서도 보다 더 긍정적인 그런 전망이 나왔다 할 때 쓸 수도 있어요. So the ADB has upgraded Korea's outlook or the outlook for Korea's economy for 2025 and 2026. 2025년 경제 성장률은 0.9%로 내다봤고요. 2026년도에는 1.7% 정도로 예상하고 있습니다. Now there are several reasons. 이유 중에는 이제 우리나라의 경기 부양 정책이 효과를 거두고 있다. 그 다음에는 이제 반도체에 대한 수요가 올랐다. 여러 가지를 이제 언급을 해주셨는데 그 중에서 경기 부양 그런 노력들 한번 볼까요?
Yeah, so what we're talking about is stimulus efforts, right? We often talk about government stimulus when the government enacts programs that includes tax cuts, lower interest rates, cash payments out to the public as well. These are all ways to spur the economy and activate economic activity, you could say.
Exactly. Stimulus efforts, 경기 부양 노력, 경기 활성화 조치. Well, this revision, this upgrade has been attributed to these things.
Right. So when you attribute A to someone, you're saying you believe that someone or something, I should say, is caused or comes from or is a result of that. So the reason that the ADB is increasing its growth forecast, the reason being things like government stimulus efforts, semiconductor demand, and of course the end of tariff negotiations.
So attributing A to B means B is the reason
Yes.
for A.
Exactly. So if scientists attribute the rising temperatures to climate change, the reason is climate change.
그렇죠. Attribute A to B. A의 원인으로 B를 드는 겁니다. 이 덕분이다. 이런 뜻이죠. So the success of Morning Special can be attributed to our wonderful staff members.
Starting with you, Sue.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
And you as well. And of course, our producers, our writers, our assistant director, of course, our technical director as well. Oh, everybody. It can be
Yes.
attributed to everyone. And most importantly, our listeners.
Yes, of course.
그래요. 이렇게 해서 attribute A to B. 그러면 A는 B 덕분이다. 라고 이렇게 해석을 할 수 있습니다. 다시 한번 제가 읽어볼게요. The Asian Development Bank, or ADB, has upgraded Korea's growth forecast for both this year and next, attributing the revision to government stimulus efforts and the completion of tariff negotiations with the US. Let's move on to the next headline.
Silver prices have surpassed $60 per ounce for the first time, driven by anticipation of a U.S. Federal Reserve rate cut and sustained high demand from the technology industry.
은 가격이 사상 처음으로 온스당 60달러를 돌파했습니다. 이는 미국 연방준비제도 이사회의 금리 인하에 대한 기대감에 기술업계에서 계속되는 수요 증가 현상이 겹친 결과로 보입니다. Tell us more.
Yeah, so overnight, the U.S. Federal Reserve actually did cut their base rate. And that's a reason why a lot of investors are putting their money into precious metals like gold and silver. That usually happens when interest rates come down and the U.S. dollar weakens. And that's what we've seen. We've seen silver cross this $60 an ounce threshold.
Yeah.
Gold also hit record highs earlier this year. A lot of this having to do with the U.S. tariffs and the sort of just the overall global economic outlook. But a lot of analysts are saying that the rally for silver is because it's sort of a spillover effect from gold, where silver is obviously a little cheaper for investors than gold. But also, it's also been pushed up by strong demand from the technology industry, which uses a lot of this as their base metal, this precious metal, which conducts electricity very well.
Gold prices, as you said, have really skyrocketed over the past couple of years. And now the ripple effect is that silver prices are also going up as well. 그래요. 그리고 지금 이제 헤드라인에서는 미국 연방준비제도 이사회, 미국의 중앙은행에서 금리를 인하할 것이라는 기대감에 이렇게 은값이 올랐다라고 했는데요. 밤 사이에 연준에서 금리 인하했습니다. 그래서 그 기대가 그 예상이 맞았어요.
Yeah.
Okay, let's have a look at some expressions now.
Right.
Anticipation.
Yeah, so all these people that were anticipating were actually correct in that the Federal Reserve would sort of cut their rates. But when you anticipate something, you're sort of looking forward to something. It's a little different from an expectation because an expectation is sort of based on fact or more reality, whereas anticipation, you have this emotional sort of factor involved. So children anticipate Christmas every year, right?
Okay.
Because that's when, they get gifts, they feel all emotional and happy and giddy. But expectation is what your parents expect you to do after school. They expect you to do your homework. You wouldn't say anticipation in that case. They do anticipate you, but it's more of a hard line deadline that they need to meet. I don't know if I explained that well.
Yeah, would you say that anticipation is also about positive things? Or can it be negative as well?
Well, because an expectation can also be positive.
It can be both, positive and negative.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'd put a positive or negative spin on these things, but I think it's more when you get more emotional, more excited, and you're looking forward to something with hope. That's sort of the anticipation.
So I don't know why, but for me, I feel like that sounds a little bit positive. But
Positive.
Yeah, because you're looking forward to it.
Sure.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
In that sense,
Yeah.
yes.
그래요. 그러니까 anticipation은 기대하면서 기다리는 느낌이 있어요. 감정이 포함된 기대감이라면은 expectation은 팩트를 기반으로 논리적인 예상을 할 때 쓰는 표현이라고 생각하면 될 것 같습니다.
Yeah. Just to be sort of play devil's advocate, I guess you could sort of anticipate a scary scene in a movie.
Okay.
In that case,
Yeah.
it
Then it's
wouldn't
not
be
positive. Yeah.
necessarily positive, but you're still anticipating it, right?
꼭 팩트를 기반으로 한 건 아니지만 이제 무서운 장면이 나올 것 같아. 이럴 때 you can anticipate a scary scene in
Sure.
a movie. Okay. 자, 미국의 연준이 금리를 인하할지 안 할지 모르는 상황에서 사람들이 금리 인하를 예상했어요. 사실 어느 정도 팩트에 기반하기는 했을 거예요. 그러니까 they expected it 해도 되긴 하지만 anticipation 안에는 좀 감정이 더 있다고 해야 되나? 아까 그 얘기 하셨죠? 감정이 좀 더 많이 들어가 있다.
Yeah, and it's also a little less logical. Of course, when you're projecting
okay.
economic sort of outcomes, then there is a sort of anticipation in addition to the expectation there as well. I would argue. Yeah.
그래요. 자, 그 다음에 sustain 한번 보겠습니다.
Yeah, when you sustain something, it's continuing for a long period, right? Without any interruption, or it's steady and it's ongoing. So in this case, what they saw was sustained high demand from the tech industry. So it wasn't a one-time sort of offshoot.
sustained라는 것은 지속된이라는 뜻이 있어서요. 여기서 얘기하는 sustained high demand, 수요가 지속됐다. 그런 의미로 여기서 쓰고 있네요.
Right, and it's a big key word in for business and corporation these days, right? With ESG,
Sustainability.
Right? Sustainability is comes from this, right?
그때는 이제 지속 가능성을 우리가 얘기하죠. 환경 얘기할 때는. 자, 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. Silver prices have surpassed $60 per ounce for the first time, driven by anticipation of a US Federal Reserve rate cut and sustained high demand from the technology industry.
Australia has enacted a world-first ban on social media for users under 16, cutting millions of children and teenagers off from their accounts and exposing non-compliant platforms to fines of up to 49.5 million Australian dollars, or over 48 billion won.
호주가 세계 주요국 중 처음으로 16세 미만 청소년의 소셜미디어 이용을 규제하는 법을 시행합니다. 이로써 어린이와 청소년 수백만 명은 자신의 계정 접근이 차단되며 이 규정을 따르지 않는 플랫폼은 4,950만 호주 달러, 우리 돈으로 약 485억 원의 벌금을 부과받게 됩니다.
Yeah, so a lot of countries are watching very closely how Australia is enacting this new law
Sure.
because a lot of countries have considered it and some have actually even passed the law. They just haven't enacted it yet. But countries like in Europe, like in Denmark, Norway, even in Malaysia are looking at this very carefully because Australia is the very first country to initiate this sort of ban for 16 and under. Because the belief is that social media is very harmful and toxic to youngsters. So for weeks now, children in Australia have been preparing. They've been spending time, taking underage assurance checks, swapping phone numbers and preparing for their accounts to be deactivated, which it did this week.
Yeah. All right, so you said Australia is the first country to enact this law, whereas, many countries have passed similar laws, but it's the first to actually take place, basically.
Right. So when you pass a law, it goes through the National Assembly or the legislature. And then when it goes into effect, enact, right? ENACT, you're making that law and it's playing out. So it's in force.
그렇죠. 그러니까 법을 제정하는 것을 enacting a law라고 합니다. 그러니까 실제로 이게 그냥 법이 통과되는 정도가 아니라 일상 생활에 어떤 영향을 미치는 그런 실질적인 결과를 가져오는 경우는 처음인데, 자, 호주에서 어떻게 할 것이냐? They're going to cut millions of children and teenagers off from their social media accounts.
Right. So when you're cutting off someone from something, for example, you're preventing that person from getting access to it, or you're disconnecting that person from that thing, right? So here in this case, teenagers or youngsters from social media.
Yeah. 소셜 미디어로부터 이제 청소년들 그리고 어린이들을 단절시키는 거죠. Cut someone off from something. Now, what's a non-compliant platform?
Yes, so here's a long word, right? Non-compliant. So you see the word compliant there.
Yeah.
COMPLIANT, meaning that you're following the rules or regulations. But if you're non-compliant, that means you are not following those rules or regulations.
아하, 따르지 않는 거군요.
Yeah.
Non-compliant. You are not complying. You're not following. 그래서 여기서 말하는 것은 이제 이런 법이 실행이 되고 있는데요. 이제 실행이 되는데 그것을 이제 따르지 않을 경우에, 즉 법을 어길 경우에 엄청난 벌금을 부과받게 될 수 있습니다.
Yes, the platforms themselves.
그렇죠.
Right?
개인이 아니라 플랫폼을 대상으로 이렇게 485억 원의 벌금이 부과될 수 있습니다.
Right. So compliant is a very formal word, right? It's used in
is.
legal,
It's used in-
medical
yeah.
sort of context. So if I say you must comply to what I say, it seems very hard and almost like a rule or law, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
In layman's terms, as you said, follow is more common.
Sure.
But in legal terms, we would say comply. 자, 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. Australia has enacted a world-first ban on social media for users under 16, cutting millions of children and teenagers off from their accounts and exposing non-compliant platforms to fines of up to 49.5 million Australian dollars or over 48 billion won. Let's move on.
London has topped the global ranking for future readiness, leading in innovation and vitality, with Seoul coming in 10th thanks to high scores for innovation and human-centric attributes, according to the World Smart City Organization.
세계 스마트 시티 기구가 발표한 도시 미래 준비도 지수 조사 결과 영국 런던이 혁신과 활력 면에서 우수성을 인정받으며 미래 대응 능력이 높은 도시 1위로 선정됐습니다. 서울은 혁신과 인간 중심성 등에서 좋은 점수를 받아 10위에 올랐습니다.
Yeah, so Seoul is the 10th most ready for the future city, according to this new poll, I guess you could say.
Yeah, could you tell us the whole top 10 list?
Yeah, so what first of all, what they do is they looked at 44 indicators.
Okay.
So things like human centricity, openness, sustainability, infrastructure and transportation. London came in first, followed by San Francisco and Boston in the US, Paris, New York, and then Copenhagen. So you have all these North American and European cities. The first Asian country is Singapore, ranked 9th, and just following is 10th, Seoul, ranked there to round out the top 10.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
그래요. 한 40개 이상의 지표를 기준으로 이게 얼마나 미래에 대비된 도시냐. 그것들 그 기준에는 이제 인간 중심 도시인지 굉장히 개방적인 도시인지 아닌지 또 아까 이제 지속 가능성 얘기했는데요. 뭐 그런 면들도 같이 두루두루 보고 뭐 혁신적인 측면에서는 어떤가. 뭐 굉장히 많습니다. 그런 것들을 쭉 보다 보니까 런던이 1위였고 그 다음에는 샌프란시스코, 보스턴, 파리, 뉴욕, 코펜하겐, 싱가포르 그리고 서울 이런 정도의 순으로 볼 수 있겠네요. 자, vitality 한번 볼까요?
Yeah, so named as one of the sort of regions or areas that this study looked at. When you talk about vitality, you're talking about energy and strength, the ability to survive and grow and to continuously succeed. So that's one of the factors that this indicator looked at here.
그래요. 그래서 그 봤던 여러 가지 기준 중에 이 활력, vitality가 들어 있었습니다. 참고로 제가 아까 이제 도시들 얘기하면서 1위부터 10위를 다 언급하진 않았어요, 저희가. 그 궁금하신 분들은 지금 빠르게 제가 읽어드릴게요. London, San Francisco, Boston, Paris, New York, Copenhagen, Zurich, Stockholm, Singapore, Seoul.
Yeah.
중간에 유럽 국가가 몇 개 더 있었습니다.
Yeah.
유럽 쪽이 도시요. Attribute 한번 볼까요?
Yeah, so-
아까 우리 attribute A to B 있었는데.
Yes, that came out, right? But this is a little different here.
attribute네요, 여기서는.
Yes. So first of all, the pronunciation, like you said,
그래요.
in the noun form, the stress is on the first syllable. So in this case, it would be an attribute as a noun, which means it's a quality or a characteristic
Yes.
or a feature of someone or something. So we all have human attributes, things like hair, fingers,
Yeah.
arms. Those are all human attributes, I guess. Right?
I love that we have both attribute A to B and attribute in our headlines today because then we can see the difference. Although they look like the same words and, they are spelt the same, but they're
Yes.
used differently. 자, 앞서서 봤던 attribute A to B 기억나시죠? A가 B 덕분이다라고 할 때 강세는 attribute, 들어있었어요. 자, 이번에는요. 속성, 특징이라는 뜻의 attribute예요. 같은 스펠링이지만 명사고 강세는 아에 들어있습니다. attribute. 그래서 여기서는 지금 loads of different attributes 라고 하면서 그런 것들을 기준으로 봤을 때 런던 1위, 한국, 서울 10위 이렇게 보고 있습니다.
Yeah, I imagine if you go for a job interview,
Yeah.
the interviewer could ask you, hey, what are your top attributes as a worker? Right?
본인이 가지고 있는 장점들을 얘기하라는 거죠. 쉽게 말하면은. 근데 이제 본인의 특성 중에 우리 회사에 도움이 될 만한 게 무엇이 있습니까? 이렇게 면접관이 물어볼 수도 있죠.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to read the headline again. London has topped the global ranking for future readiness, leading in innovation and vitality, with Seoul coming in 10th, thanks to high scores for innovation and human-centric attributes, according to the World Smart City Organization. Now let's move on to the final headline.
Frank Gehry, widely regarded as one of the past century's most influential architects and known for his avant-garde and experimental approach, has passed away at the age of 96.
자, 지난 세기 가장 영향력 있는 건축가 중 한 명으로 평가되며 전위적이고 실험적인 접근법으로 유명한 프랭크 게리가 96세의 나이로 세상을 떠났습니다.
Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, for those of our listeners who are not familiar with Frank Gehry, what sort of things did he make?
Well, I think his
Or
big
build
claim...
or design.
Design, right?
Yeah.
I think his big claim to fame, which catapulted him into stardom, was back in 1997 with the the world famous Guggenheim Museum
In Spain.
Bilbao, Spain, right?
Yeah.
It's covered in titanium, sort of these geometric shapes. Our PD name was clear to point out that there's a kalguksu place in Ilsan that it sort of looks like it, so you don't have to go all the way to Spain to go see this.
The motive seems to be the Guggenheim Museum.
They may have gotten
Yeah.
motivation from
Yeah.
that. But Gehry actually was a Canadian American. He was born in Toronto, moved to the U.S. Later on for his studies. He's known for his what's called deconstructivism is his sort of his palette, right? But in addition to the Guggenheim Museum in Spain, another famous one that I've seen is the Disney Concert Hall
Yes.
in Los Angeles,
True.
which also has that similar titanium facade on the outside.
맞아요. 이 게리라는 건축가가 디자인한 건물들을 보면은 다 기하학적이고 그냥 평범하진 않습니다.
Yeah.
이렇게 곡선과 그다음에 비스듬한 형태의 건물들도 많이 있고요. 지금 얘기한 구겐하임 뮤지엄 빌바오가 뭐 대표적이기는 하지만 월트 디즈니 콘서트 홀도 마찬가지로 굉장히 유명하고 그 외에도 굉장히 많은 박물관들을 전 세계적으로 많이 디자인했고요. 조금만 이제 뭐 잘 아시는 분들은 바로 이미지가 올 것인데 궁금하신 분들은 이제 프랭크 게리 건축물 이렇게 해서 검색하시면 바로 이미지가 뜰 거예요. 아, 이런 건물을 디자인했구나 아실 수 있습니다. Okay, let's have a look at he was regarded as one of the most influential architects.
Yes. So regard, interestingly enough, in French, regard means to see, right,
yes.
or to look. So in English, to be regarded as something means you're considered or you're viewed
Yep.
or thought of as something.
맞습니다. 네. To regard someone as something이라는 것은 이제 그 사람을 이렇게 본다는 뜻이에요. 그리고 불어에서도 말씀해 주신 것처럼 regard라고 하면은 보다라는 동사인 거 불어 하시는 분들은 또 아실 텐데 그렇게 여겨지다, 그렇게 보여지다 이렇게 두루두루 해석을 하면 되겠고요. 어떻게 보여진 분이냐, 어떻게 여겨졌냐 20세기에 가장 영향력 있는 건축가로 여겨진 분 중에 하나입니다.
Right. Or you see
Influential.
someone in
Yeah.
high regard, right?
Okay,
in that
yeah.
case, when you respect someone. Yeah.
And influential, of
Influential,
course.
yes, of course. The word influencer is used so often these days.
Yeah.
If influential as an adjective means you have the power to affect or to change things, right? So Gary was a very influential architect in his generation.
Influence, 영향. Influencer, 영향력을 많이 미치는 우리 소셜 미디어의 이제 그 유명 인사들이라고나 할까요?
Yeah.
여러분 잘 아시잖아요, 인플루언서. 그다음에 influential 그러면은 영향력 있는이라는 형용사입니다. 다시 읽어볼게요. Frank Gehry, widely regarded as one of the past century's most influential architects and known for his avant-garde and experimental approach, has passed away at the age of 96. Oh, may he rest in peace. And that's it for the headlines with Shane Harm.